Coming into the 2024 season, Los Angeles Chargers were entering uncharted territory in their first season without perennial starters Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. But 2024 second-round pick Ladd McConkey has stepped into the plate and become Justin Herbert's #1 weapon in his rookie year. Originally a zero-star recruit until his offer by the University of Georgia, McConkey wasn't always expected to be an emerging star. However, he's turned into one of the deadliest slot weapons in the National Football League. Andrew Ladd McConkey was born to Benji and Brittany McConkey on November 11, 2001 in Chatsworth, Georgia, a rural town on the edge of the Tennessee-Georgia border with a population of about 4,000.
So you tell people from Atlanta or Chattanooga?
Just Chatsworth. Atlanta is like its own state, I feel like.
Football was always in Ladd's DNA, as his dad Benji was a star quarterback at Dalton Secondary School in Georgia. Only 20 minutes away from where Ladd played his high school ball at North Murray High School. Benji grew Dalton into a powerhouse, leading them to a 25-2 combined record from 1993 and 1994, being recognized on the Georgia All-State list twice for his efforts. Growing up, McConkey was a Tennessee Volunteers fan, carrying his grandfather's fandom, Vic McConkey. After Vic passed on January 20th, 2016, after every game in college and high school, Ladd wrote the numbers 1-20-16 to honor his late grandfather. After the Vols didn't offer him, he made it a mission to make them regret their decision.
Tennessee fan growing up.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to go.
In his only opportunity to play against the Vols, Ladd dropped a smooth
90 and a touchdown.
Hinton, Ladd's oldest brother, followed in their dad's footsteps, playing quarterback at the collegiate level for the University of West Georgia and Presbyterian University. Don't get it twisted. Ladd had hoop dreams too, boasting a decent jumper and good defensive intensity. But on the field, McConkey was a do-it-all star. McConkey also dabbled with track and field and ran a 10.85 in the 100 meters in his first meet, which is really impressive. When you have YouTube clips dedicated to you at 6 years old, you're destined for greatness, which marks the start of this young receiver's career. Thing is, he wasn't always a receiver, as in high school he played quarterback, running back, receiver, and was a return specialist. Hell, he was even an all-region honorable mention as a punter. He threw for 1,771 yards and 20 touchdowns to go along with 924 yards rushing and 10 more scores on the ground. He also added 4 interceptions on defense and returned 3 of those puppies for scores. He also amassed 356 total return yards on 7 returns, taking 3 of them back for 6. Nonetheless, at the end of his senior season, he was considered a 3-star recruit by 24/7 Sports and the 187th best wide receiver in the class of 2020, which is a laughable ranking nowadays. McConkey was offered by smaller schools such as Furman, Bucknell, and William & Mary, with his biggest offers being Army, Vanderbilt, and then a last-minute offer from the University of Georgia, which he actually received after one of his varsity basketball games. The day that Ladd received the offer, January 20th, 2020, which is really symbolic because it marks exactly 4 years after his grandfather's passing, who was a really important piece of his life. On an interview with Makai Muse, Ladd discussed how he almost attended an FCS school, but then UGA came at the perfect time.
Georgia kind of came on late, and like I said, once I came up here and saw everything, I was like, all right, I got to go do this.
McConkey redshirted his first year and participated on scout teams, sitting behind future NFL wide receivers and gaining confidence. Spending most of his high school career at quarterback, starting off McConkey was a raw prospect, but developed a knack for great route running. During his redshirt freshman year, McConkey battled for a starting spot against future NFL receivers A.D. Mitchell, Jermaine Burton, and George Pickens, and finished the 2021 season as Georgia's third leading receiver ahead of Adonai Mitchell and George Pickens, who did miss the majority of the season with an ACL tear, but it still cemented Ladd's position in the offense for future years to come. Ladd's sophomore campaign was his best statistical year, earning him second-team All-SEC with his 58 catches, 762 yards, and 7 touchdowns, being all his career highs in college, to go along with 134 rushing yards and 2 total tutties on the ground. Against Mississippi State, the UGA wideout gashed them for a 70-yard rushing touchdown, showing off some of his versatility. A major point in McConkey's career is his championship success with the Bulldogs, winning back-to-back ships. In the win against Alabama, he was held to only 3 yards, but in the TCU massacre, number 84 totaled 102 all-purpose yards, spearheaded by his 88 receiving yards in a 2-touchdown game. To add to the dominance, he along with Brock Bowers and the rest of the 2021 to 2023 Georgia crew never lost a home game at Sanford Stadium, and I continue this year with the 2024 crew at Georgia. The 2023 season was injury-filled for Ladd, as he was dealing with nagging chronic injuries, back soreness, and a right low ankle sprain. He still put together some solid performances, notably his 135-yard explosion against rival University of Florida, totaling the second most yards in the rivalry's history over the last 2 decades, trailing only his former teammate Brock Bowers. The Orange Bowl, similar to the National Championship in 2023, was a landslide, but the wide receiver hit pay dirt on a ridiculous improvised play.
Look at this from McConkey! My oh my!
At the end of the 2023 season, the Georgia wide receiver was awarded with the Werfel Trophy, which is presented to the FBS player who best combines exemplary community service with leadership achievement on and off the field. The Georgia wide receiver is a stand-up guy who loves to help out his community and make a difference.
He was awarded this year's Werfel Trophy, awarded to a college football player for their community service. Right now, there is a display for his award here at Atlanta's College Football Hall of Fame.
McConkey's given nature has been highlighted on social media, and even his current head coach, Jim Harbaugh, mentioned his happy spirit, and how his family positively influenced him.
That was poured into him by his parents, Benji and Brittany.
Speaking about Brock Bowers and McConkey, both players had the opportunity to avoid the Orange Bowl and instead focus on the NFL draft, as they were each dealing with a high ankle sprain. In Bowers' case, one that was surgically repaired. However, both toughed it out and played that game, and now have had phenomenal rookie seasons, with each of them going over 1,000 receiving yards and shattering franchise records. Bowers has received national recognition for setting the tight end rookie record in receiving yards and receptions in NFL history, and is considered by many to be a top tight end in the league already. According to OptaStats, they are the first rookie wide receiver and tight end duo from the same college to over 1,000 yards in the same season. McConkey and Bowers also joined Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU this year to become the second and third rookie duos from the same college to have 1,000 yards receiving in the same season. And who they joined was Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, who we'll get to in a bit. McConkey's been more in the shadows compared to his teammate, although he's starting to gain more attention as the regular season wraps up. Last performance at the Combine wowed NFL scouts, especially with its 40 time of 4.39, clocking a faster time than college speedsters Jermaine Burton and Troy Franklin, which strengthened his draft stock, no doubt. What's really impressive is his drastic improvement from his 4.56 40 time in 2019 before his freshman year at UGA. Additionally, at his pro day, McConkey posted a 3.97 short shuttle, which would have been first out of all positions at the Combine, and also the fourth best time on the cone drill. Despite his small frame and weight, McConkey generated a 9.34 RAS score out of 10, displaying serious speed and agility. For those who don't know, RAS is a metric that combines the various categories measured at the NFL Combine: height, weight, wingspan, drill exercises, all into one aggregate number that's then contextualized against other athletes at the same position. In McConkey's case, the wideout score ranked him 225 out of 3,402 on the start of RAS tracking in 1987. Before the Combine, McConkey was viewed as an early day 2 draft pick, as a quick slot guy, with two comparisons to another LA wide receiver, Cooper Kupp. Now, Kupp's not a bad guy to be compared to. He's a former Triple Crown winner that has turned into a nice weapon in the league, with over 7,500 yards and 58 total touchdowns. Kupp, who's known for his route running similar to McConkey, only posted a 4.62 40 time at the Combine. Despite similar skills to Kupp, with blazing speed, just adds another element to a well-developed slot receiver. On draft day 2, Daniel Jeremiah's 34th ranked prospect, Lad McConkey, was selected in the second round with the 34th overall pick by the Los Angeles Chargers, after a draft day deal with the Patriots that has worked out phenomenally so far. In the trade, the Patriots also picked up a receiver in the second round, Jalen Polk, out of Washington, and while he has shown flashes, he hasn't been given a massive role so far. While for the Chargers, Ladd and Tarheeb Still have been stars from day one. Going into this Chargers season, it was heavily debated that Herbert was given an inexperienced young wide receiver room, especially with the shocking trade of Keenan Allen, a 10-year starter for the franchise. Allen, who's second all time for receptions and receiving yards in Chargers history, was coming off a career year in 2023. Opposite him, starter Mike Williams was in a contract year, and an ACL tear in week 3 ultimately was the last game of his Chargers career. To begin the first season in 7 years without Allen and Williams, the original depth chart for the season slated Joshua Palmer, DJ Chark, and Quentin Johnston as starters. McConkey originally placed as the 5th wide receiver on the depth chart. Before the season, Palmer and Chark were viewed as the veterans of the team, which contrasted speedster Darius Davis and Johnston, a former first-round pick who struggled but drops his rookie year, was expected to step up in his sophomore year. However, before the first game of the season, Chark was added to injured reserve due to a hip injury. And although he was activated in early November, he only has 3 grabs for 25 yards since his return. With shoes ready to be filled, The 2024 second-round pick, viewed by many to be solely a slot receiver for the Bolts, has blossomed into something much more, as in his first season, McConkey posted 82 grabs for 1,149 yards and 7 touchdowns. 2 weeks ago, McConkey broke the Chargers rookie records in receptions and receiving yards, which were set by previous Charger Keenan Allen. Now, during his pre-draft process, McConkey appeared in an ESPN segment and was compared to fellow NFL wide receiver Gary Wilson.
The measurables side by side. This is impressive, man. What do you think about this?
Yeah, he's a stud. So one of the best wide receivers in the league right now. So to be able to be compared to him, it's awesome.
Now for Gary Wilson, the first couple seasons of his career were spent with spotty QB play, which makes his 3 consecutive 1K seasons and much more impressive, albeit with an average of 90 catches per season. Wilson played with Joe Flacco, Zach Wilson, and even Mike White during his rookie season. Wasn't able to secure an okay starter until this year with Aaron Rodgers, and we've seen how that's gone. However, for McConkey, the future is bright because the quarterback of the future has already been locked away, as Justin Herbert signed a 5-year, $262 million extension in July 2023. Lad's entire career on the Chargers will most likely be with the franchise quarterback, which will allow him to become a consistent weapon in the league for years to come. For the Georgia native, one of his best yardage games came against the Atlanta Falcons, with McConkey snagging 9 catches for 117 yards and an electrifying 48-yard scamper in 3/4 of action before he exited with a shoulder injury. Now, while it's good to look at the baseline stats such as receiving yards, receptions, touchdowns, it's also good to look into the analytics and to see where players fare in those type of categories. And Lad fares really well in several categories, actually. So most of the stats that I used came from PFF, which has a grading system for each player and team for every football game, NFL, NCAA, etc. They also record information and create data that is typically unavailable. And so for McConkey, he's done most of his damage on intermediate passes, from around 10 to 19 yard receptions, leading all rookies with over 30 receptions of 15 plus yards. According to PFF, McConkey ranks first in the entire NFL in such passes, totaling 596 yards, passing him just above Justin Jefferson and Jerry Jeudy, even after missing an entire game. While Lad's garnered some success out wide, 70% of his snaps have come from the slot. He's been a force. Lad's 761 yards in the slot are second most in the league, ahead of his college teammate Brock Bowers and other notable inside receivers such as CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Among all wide receivers and tight ends with 30 plus targets, Lad McConkey is the highest percentage of targets caught against man coverage per PFF. It sits in the 8th spot for total yards against man. With a playoff spot on the line, the shifty second-round pick torched the Patriots for 8 receptions, 94 yards, and tied a career high with 2 touchdowns in the ball game to solidify a playoff berth for the Chargers in Week 16. This season, Lad McConkey and Malik Neighbors became the first rookie receiver since the 1970 merger to have 50-plus receiving yards in each of their last 10 games played. For the entire regular season, Lad ranked 10th in the NFL's receiving yards, and he ranked 3rd among all rookie wide receivers. And he had a stellar rookie season. I mean, he definitely surprised me. Really surprised some other people, and it's been exciting to see what he can do. And with Justin Herbert at the helm for him, he has a great future ahead of him. I'm excited to see what he can do in this playoff game against the Texans, and it'll be fun to watch the rest of his career. If you guys like this video, let me know down below. I can definitely do some more stuff like this. This is just something new for me, trying something out. If y'all like it, please drop a like, drop a sub, drop a comment if you feel up to it. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace out. And while I'm editing this video, they just finished the playoff game for the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Houston Texans. Didn't go so well for the Chargers, but Lad had a tremendous performance, putting up 197 receiving yards, which is a rookie record in playoff history. So once again, breaking records for Lad, and it'll be exciting to see what we can do next season. Catch y'all on the next one.